Hi there, everybody. This is Deckard Spade, and today we're going to be talking about the arcane, magic, and the afterlife. Now, today we're not going to be talking about the heavier stuff like death and the grieving process. That's way too heavy for a children's cartoon. Instead, we're going to be observing what they've already shown in the show, and then ask our questions from that. And I think we need to be able to differentiate between the idea of what is magic and what is just natural existence. And trust me, this is not an easy topic. Equestrian society can't even figure out if the Alicorn sisters are gods or goddesses or demigods or whatever. It's just hard to tell whether their abilities come from magic or if it's something that's even a higher source. And was it due to a case of enlightenment that they were able to transcend their mortal bodies? We can already see that becoming an Alicorn is not an easy task. In the case of the episode Twilight's Destiny, Twilight Sparkle ascended due to her understanding of friendship and what she had gone through as her experiences with her friends. But the show wasn't quite clear over the fact if it involved the use of her understanding of magic or if it also involved the fact that she had completed Star Swirl's spell. Or was this just a test or a task that was left as the final rung for Celestia to grant her her Alicornhood? After all, the transformation took place completely on Princess Celestia's terms. Twilight Sparkle was told that she was being watched her entire life, this being told to her in a pocket dimension, and then, suddenly, the ascension takes place. Perhaps it was just the fact that that episode was rushed, but I kind of find it hard to believe that that ascension equals godhood. Still, this doesn't mean that they couldn't have ascended to a higher state of being. Really, I suppose the question I'm getting at is, when Alicorns aren't the gods and goddesses of this world, what exactly are they, and who do they look to worship? Maybe it's just a whole sense of agnosticism to say that there is something that exists, but they all don't know what it is. I perfectly would be fine with that. But then the show throws us a curveball with some of the other episodes that they had. For one, Tartarus is a real place. In the episode It's About Time, Cerberus was released upon the populace. It's already been said that Tartarus is an established place in Equestria. There is apparently a gate somewhere here in Equestria that allows a person to go from Equestrian lands to the middle of hell. And that the Alicorn sisters have the ability to banish things to hell using the same portals. After all, Tyrrek escaped from Tartarus. Then he banished the princesses to Tartarus during his plan, and then after the plan was foiled, he was put back into Tartarus. And I can already hear some of you saying, "Why are you calling it hell? It's called Tartarus." The words can be used interchangeably. Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's actually another place that exists as hell. Oi! Get back in your portal! This ain't your review! I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there's no real finality to death at this point. Where's the consequence to being dead if you can just walk out the back door? I mean, maybe there's some sort of consequence that might take place. If you naturally pass and then try to go through the door, you might end up as a ghoul or a ghost. But it's already been shown that people can cross over to the other side and back multiple times in their normal mortal coil and then just have no consequence for the action whatsoever. Now, I'm probably just overthinking the situation. For all I know, there are rules in play that I don't know yet. I'm really hoping that the writers expand upon this. They have a lot of potential for finding villains and protagonists and antagonists in situations which would bring morals into question. I, for one, would like to see the main six have to deal with a moral quandary due to a subtle villain. One that tricks the main six out of releasing something possibly from Tartarus that might take over that realm. Alright, that's enough talk about Tartarus for right now. I want to talk a little more about faith, and then we'll wrap up with magic. I mean, we've already seen enough of the Slice of Life episodes to know that there should be some sort of moral guidelines that have to govern pony kind. And in Hearts and Hooves Day, we can already see that there's at least some sort of spiritual advisor that exists. I'm not quite sure what kind of religion exists, but there are spiritual advisors. I mean, there's still incentive for a person to have morals. Generally, by being nice and working with one another, they solve their issues, usually within a half hour. And we can see that by following the elements of harmony and keeping a level head, you can usually solve issues that would come up. However, taking it to an extreme usually causes problems. Now, as for how magic works in this world, it's a high fantasy realm. It has a lot of magic. It explains a lot of things with magic. Even the pony races, Pegasi, Unicorn, and even Earth ponies have magic in them. And the defining traits and how they manifest these talents differs from one race to the other. They're all essentially still capable of pulling off some level of magic. There have to be certain rules in place for you to be able to use magic, at least in some way. Number one, you need to have a focus of some kind, whether it be an amulet, alchemy, or even a unicorn horn. It has to be something overt in order to be able to directly control magic. It could even be somebody's body with enough practice. I like to think that Discord himself is probably just a very innately magic creature that has a lot of practice in doing chaotic things. Number two, magic has to have practice and understanding behind it for it to manifest in some way. Twilight Sparkle spent a lot of her time studying magic in Canterlot. I'm guessing the Alicorn sisters have thousands of years of experience too. For those who have less practice, like Trixie when she had the Alicorn amulet, the spells came to her through the item itself, which suggests some items may be able to be passively capable of passing on spells and experience based on the person who enchanted them. Now, for those of us who have played Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, or Oblitzen Ogres, generally if you had an understanding of the magic, you would be able to write it down and share it with other people using books, scrolls, or other items and medium. And as we've seen in the show, you can enchant items such as rings, armor, amulets, books, anything. But all of that energy has to come from somewhere. Now, bearing in mind that we have Tartarus as one of the planes of existence already, we can also assume that there are different dimensions that exist outside the realm of Equestria. Places like Pandemonium, where Discord could have come from, Celestia, where we could say is the opposite of Tartarus, could also very well exist. There could even be the elemental planes existing on the fringe of the mortal plane itself. And all of these planes of existence could lend their energies to Equestria. With all of this in place, it's just a short leap to understand that there are different cultures and different histories in place. People could worship whatever they wish. And we already know that there are different creatures outside of equestrian borders that have different thoughts and experiences as well. I'm interested in hearing about what you guys have to say in the comments below. This is Deckard Spade signing off. Thanks for listening.